Hi, my name is Roslyn Brown. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm here with an organization called Missourians Organizing for Reform and Empowerment, MORE. And that's what we need. We need more police reforms, more municipal court consolidations, more awareness about the predatory practices that are embedded into a racial systemic injustice system. My story is about my daughter's father, who initially was going against the mayor in a town called Pine Lawn, Missouri. And he was actually flyering the community, talking about the misappropriation of funds, the corruption going on in the Pine Lawn community. So he became a target. They started doing false arrests. They started stopping him at stop signs and pulling guns out at the stop signs. And they basically was just, he was put on a blacklist. And so were a number of other people. And the mayor, in order to keep his position and control of the city, it basically became Pine Lawn Plantation, where he was the mayor, who is a black man, was a slave master who hired a white overseer. Basically, he was the highest ranking officer in the police department, and he was a white man about 34 years old, and he policed our community gangland style. And as he patrolled the community, he would play his theme music to cops, bad boys, and that's exactly what he was. As a result, my story is about that same officer, who was Stephen Blakeney, who is now up on federal charges for civil rights violations, falsifying police reports, as well as conspiracy charges. But that didn't just happen out of the blue. This took a period of time because first they came to my home where I resided, not my child's father, but it was his property in his name. So they couldn't jail him and confine him. So they wanted to remove him from the community by taking his property, the property in which I lived in with my daughter. On that day, I was actually at home. I was writing a story. I was actually writing a paper about an education system, comparing the Nigerian education system to the education system here in the United States. But I promise you, all the degrees that I have earned did not prepare me for what happened to me on that day. The social injustices that actually pulled me out of my home, which I was almost naked, in pajamas, no shoes on, a disabled female. And all my injuries, nerve injuries, deal with my feet and my legs. They did not take that into consideration, even though I walked in with a cane. On that day, I was falsely arrested, given 33 citations. My daughter, who was not there, they went and removed her from a neighbor's custody, and she was jailed and confined too. So I felt that we were on an auction block at that time during slavery, where I was, as a mother, was being pulled apart from my child. But we were both confined on that day, all because, you know, we were actually fighting against a system that was corrupt. And even though our public outcries, you know, went from as far as the Attorney General's office, the Secretary of State, nothing happened. We waited on our Superman, and that happened only when the federal government got involved. After the Michael Brown incident and tragic incident in Ferguson happened, that is when people started listening to what was actually going on in Pine Lawn, and that mayor was finally actually now confined, doing jail time in a federal prison for 33 months for extorting businesses in the community, not for crimes against the people that were committed, because the predatory practices from the policing department in a community of 3,000 people, which earned over $2.2 million and has over 23,000 outstanding bench warrants during the year 2014.